Obviously, Caitlin Clark does play a big part of it, and she knows it, and she's embracing it in the best way possible. So, Indiana definitely deserved the light that we give it for sure.
So that's it. The loops right here, towels right here, this right there. That's what goes down there. We got some bean bags coming because we watching some TV up in here.
Is there drama in the Fever locker room? Sheryl Swoopes thinks so, but Erica Wheeler has a different story. Who's telling the truth about Caitlin Clark's impact on the team? Let's break it down and see who's got the facts straight. Guys, Sheryl Swoopes just dropped a bombshell about the Indiana Fever. She's saying players want out because of Caitlin Clark. Is she right? Swoopes went on a podcast and claimed that Fever players are looking to leave the team. She didn't hold back, saying players are trying to get away from Clark. That's a pretty big accusation, right? You know what's crazy? As soon as Swoopes said this, basketball fans and insiders went nuts. Everyone was confused and asking questions. Is there really trouble in the Fever locker room? Are players actually trying to escape Clark's shadow? But here's where it gets wild. Someone on the inside is about to shut this whole thing down. You won't believe what happens next when a Fever player decides to set the record straight. Hold up. Before we buy into Swoopes' story, there's another side we need to hear. Erica Wheeler's stepping up to the mic, and she's painting a very different picture of life with Caitlin Clark. What's the real scoop from inside the Fever locker room? You know who's not having any of Swoopes' claims? Erica Wheeler. And she's about to spill some tea that'll make you question everything Swoopes said. Wheeler's been with the Fever for years, so she knows what's up. She's not just some random player, she's got the inside scoop on what's really going down in that locker room. So what's Wheeler saying? She's straight up shutting down Swoopes' claims. Wheeler's like, nah, that's not how it is at all.
So yesterday I was on Twitter and someone said that Indiana is the new Hollywood. So I thought it was pretty cool that people feel like Indiana, because when you think about Indiana, you think it's boring, it's nothing to do, but now everybody wants to be in Indiana.
Every single team in this league is really good, and that's what makes it so fun, and I think there's going to be a lot of new fans coming to the WNBA. There's already a lot of fans here, and just continuing to grow that and attract that and keep those fans will be super important.
She's telling everyone that the team actually loves playing with Caitlin Clark. Can you believe it? It's the complete opposite of what Swoopes was trying to sell us. Here's the thing, Wheeler's not just saying they tolerate Clark. She's painting this picture of Clark as this fun-loving kid who's bringing all this positive energy to the team. Wheeler's exact words? She called Clark really a kid at heart. That doesn't sound like someone the team's trying to get away from, does it? But wait, it gets better. Wheeler's spilling all the details about how much fun they're having. She says, all we do is have fun with Caitlin Clark, who never takes anything serious. That's huge, right? It's like Clark's not just there to play ball, she's there to lift everyone's spirits too. And it's not just Clark. Wheeler's talking about how the whole team, including the coaching staff, is all about keeping things light. They know when to get serious, sure, but they're not afraid to have a good time either. It's like they found this perfect balance between work and play. You know what's crazy? With all the pressure on Clark and the team, you'd think they'd be all stressed out, but Wheeler's saying that's not the case at all. They're using all this fun energy to keep the bad vibes away. It's like they figured out how to use laughter as a shield against all the outside noise. So, who's telling the truth here? On one side, we've got Swoopes saying players want out. On the other, we've got Wheeler, who's actually on the team, saying everyone's having a blast. It's like night and day, isn't it? But here's the thing. Wheeler's not just contradicting Swoop. She's completely flipping the script. She's showing us a team that's united, that enjoys playing together, and that's embracing their new star player, instead of trying to run away from her. While the team's bonding, Clark's busy making history. Her rookie season isn't just good, it's potentially one of the best we've ever seen. But what exactly is she doing that's so special? The numbers tell a story that's hard to believe.
This isn't just for Caitlin, but you asked me about Caitlin. If you're going to break a record, to me, if it's legitimate, you have to break that record in the same amount of time that that player set it. Yeah, that'll go in the record books as Caitlin Clark is the all-time, whatever it is. I don't even know what the number is, but that's the way it'll be. And I don't think it should be. Caitlin Clark right now probably takes about 40 shots a game.
Carry on.
I know you like that.
Hell yeah.
Let's talk about Caitlin Clark's game. This rookie is putting up numbers that are making everyone sit up and take notice. We're talking 19.5 points, 8.4 assists, and 5.7 rebounds per game. That's not just good, that's elite level play right out of the gate. Think about it. Clark's not just scoring, she's setting up her teammates and crashing the boards too. She's doing everything on the court, and she's not doing it against weak competition. This is the WNBA, where the best of the best play. Clark's going toe-to-toe with seasoned pros and holding her own. But it's not just about the stat. Clark's game is changing the whole vibe in Indiana. The Fever haven't made the playoffs since 2016. That's a long drought. But with Clark on the court, they're looking like a whole new team. They're in the hunt for a playoff spot, and a lot of that is thanks to Clark's impact. You know what's wild? Clark's not just putting up numbers for herself. She's making everyone around her better. That's what great players do. They elevate the whole team, and that's exactly what we're seeing with the Fever this season. Now, some people might say, sure, she's good for a rookie, but Clark's not just good for a rookie. She's good, period. Her stats would be impressive for a veteran player. For a rookie, they're off the chart. And here's the thing, Clark's not slowing down. She's getting better as the season goes on. She's figuring out the league, adapting her game, and finding new ways to dominate. That's scary for the rest of the WNBA. So when you hear people like Erica Wheeler talking about how much fun the team is having, it makes sense. Winning is fun, playing with a star is fun, and Clark is bringing both of those things to Indiana. But here's a question to think about. If Clark is this good, and the team is having this much fun, why would anyone think there's a problem? Why would Sheryl Swoopes claim that players want to get away from Clark? You'd think a basketball legend would celebrate rising talent, right? But Swoopes has been singing a different tune about Clark from day one. The real question is, why? What's driving this ongoing shade fest? Let's rewind a bit and look at Swoopes' history with Clark. It's not pretty, folks. Swoopes has been downplaying Clark's achievements since she stepped onto the WNBA court. Remember when Clark was putting up insane numbers? Swoopes wasn't impressed. She said, "Those are hell of a numbers, but to me, that's not dominating. That's some serious shade right there." But wait, it gets worse. Swoopes went on a podcast and tried to diminish Clark's record-breaking achievement. She said, if Kelsey Plum set that record in 4 years, well, Caitlin should have broke that record in 4 years. Swoopes was basically saying Clark had an unfair advantage because of the extra year of eligibility from COVID-19. Talk about trying to take the shine off someone's accomplishments. And it's not just what Swoopes is saying, it's what she's not saying that's got people talking. During broadcasts, when everyone else is hyping up Clark's achievements, Swoopes goes silent. It's like she can't bring herself to give Clark any credit. Fans have noticed, and they're not happy about it. They're calling Swoopes out for her lack of acknowledgement. But here's where it gets really interesting. While Swoopes is throwing shade, other basketball legends are stepping up to praise Clark. Nancy Lieberman, another big name in women's basketball, has been all about supporting Clark, and guess what? That's causing some serious tension between Lieberman and Swoopes. Lieberman's not holding back either. She's saying her relationship with Swoopes has gone downhill because of Swoopes' comments about Clark. That's right, we've got legend-on-legend drama, all because of how they're treating this rookie sensation. You know what's wild? Swoopes actually apologized to Clark once for some things she said, but then she went right back to being critical. It's like she can't help herself, and people are starting to wonder if this is more than just basketball analysis.
She's the first rookie to win WNBA Player of the Month since the award's inception in 2010, and last night it was no exception. They were sky high for Caitlin Clark and the Fever, but to start the season, they had a little bit of a rough go of it. They lost their first 5 games. They ended up 1-8 through their first 9 games, and during that first month, the playoffs, they didn't feel realistic at all. Indy entered the Olympic break 11-15 on the year, and then they really turned it around. They've won 7 of their 8 since. They clinched a playoff berth for the first time since 2016, which, by the way, was the last year of Hall of Famer and franchise icon Tamika Catchings.
Is this personal for Swoopes? All this drama is having real consequences. People are starting to question Swoopes' future in WNBA commentary. They're asking if she can be fair and objective when it comes to Clark. And let's be real, when you're in the business of talking about basketball, being seen as biased is not a good look. So what's really going on here? Is Swoopes just being tough on the new kid? Is she jealous of all the attention Clark's getting? Or is there something deeper we're not seeing? All this outside noise, but what about the team at the center of it all? The Fever aren't just sitting back and watching the show. They're writing their own script, and trust me, it's nothing like what Swoopes is selling. Want to know the real deal straight from the locker room? Let's talk about what's really going down with the Fever. Erica Wheeler's not holding back, and she's painting a picture that's totally different from Swoopes' claims. Wheeler's talking about a team that's having a blast, not trying to escape. You know what's wild? Wheeler's saying they're having so much fun, it's like they've built this force field against all the drama. She's telling us, all we do is have fun with Caitlin Clark, who never takes anything serious. That doesn't sound like a team in crisis, does it? But here's the thing, it's not just about having fun. Wheeler's talking about a team that knows when to get serious too. They've got this balance figured out. When it's time to work, they work, but most of the time, they're just enjoying the ride. And Caitlin Clark, she's not this drama-causing diva Swoopes is trying to make her out to be. Wheeler's calling her really a kid at heart. That's huge. It means Clark's not just fitting in. She's bringing this fresh energy that's lifting everyone up. Now, let's talk about what this means for the Fever. They're on the verge of making the playoffs for the first time since 2016. That's a big deal, and guess what? Wheeler's saying Clark's a big part of that. When someone asked if they could do it without Clark, Wheeler shut that down real quick. She said, "No, but we here. Stay tuned in." That's the sound of a team that's united, not divided. They're not trying to get away from Clark, they're rallying around her. It's like they've taken all this outside noise and turned it into fuel. But here's where it gets really interesting. Wheeler's talking about how they've created this bubble around themselves. All that drama Swoopes is trying to stir up, it's not getting in. Wheeler says, "We kind of understand the outside world was really trying to get inside this building. We just didn't let it." That's some next-level team unity right there. They're not just ignoring the noise, they're actively shutting it out. And in its place, they're building something special. Think about it. With all this pressure on Clark, all these expectations, you'd think the team might crack. But instead, they're using it to bond. They're laughing together, playing together, and most importantly, winning together. So what's the real impact on the Fever? It's not what Swoopes is selling. It's not drama or division. It's unity. It's a team that's found its groove and is riding it all the way to a potential playoff spot. And you know what? That's the kind of story we don't hear enough in sports. We're always looking for the conflict, the drama. But sometimes, the real story is how a team comes together, not falls apart. Alright, let's wrap this up. The whole Swoopes-Clark drama? It's not what it seemed. While Swoopes was out there saying Fever players wanted to bail, Wheeler stepped up and shut that down. She painted a picture of a team having a blast with their rookie star. But this isn't just about Clark or the Fever. It's bigger than that. It's about how we look at sports story. Sometimes the media tries to sell us drama that isn't there. The Fever showed us that sometimes the real story is how a team comes together, not falls apart. So next time you hear some crazy rumor about your favorite players or teams, remember the Fever. Don't just buy into the drama. Look for the real story, because sometimes it's way better than what you're being sold.